Hey guys, so I feel like we're always in a different location. I moved from my bed, well no, I started off at my desk and then I moved to my bed and then I moved back to my desk and now I'm like in this in-between phase of like, am I on my bed? Am I on my desk? You'll never know. That's one secret I'll never tell. You know you love me. XOXO. Gossip girl. I've been trying to film this video for 2 days now. This is the second day in a row that I've done my makeup and I was literally not going to film today because I was like, just not feeling it. I'm burnt out and it's currently midnight and I'm filming now. So we're working on like a few cups of coffee and slight just like sleepy brain. So if I make any mistakes, forgive me. Instagram and Twitter, follow me on there. Second channel description, there'll be some exciting stuff happening on there. Yeah, I'm very excited for my second channel. There's just a lot of things happening on there that I'm like really, really excited about. And it just makes me happy how much that channel has grown, considering it's literally just a beauty channel. It's a channel where I talk about like my favorite makeup and project pans and just like stuff that probably isn't very interesting to a lot of people, but somehow you guys still watch it and I'm kind of like eternally grateful and I've never been so flattered, so thank you guys. And there's just a lot of opportunities coming out of that channel now which I never thought were possible, so you know, more on that on the second channel. Now I know that, you know, the last 2-ish months have been kind of stressful with the stuff that's been happening, like just pure chaos ensued on the internet. And now that it's all kind of dialed down, I feel like we all need some time to de-stress, and for that, Adam and Eve are coming in clutch. Yes, you heard me right. So Adam and Eve are actually offering you guys a 50% off discount off of one item with free shipping to US and Canada. But you're like, Angelika, what's Adam and Eve? It is an adult toy shop and I'm offering you 50% off one item. Don't thank me, just use it with code Angelika. Also 20% of all profits go to fighting HIV around the world, which I think is incredible. You can do some good for yourself as well as other people, all for 50% off. Bargains if you ask me. So if you guys want to get yourself 50% off one item with free shipping to the US and Canada, use code Angelika. Now let's get into the tea. So I recently spoke about Ellen DeGeneres, so we're going to do some catch-up tea before we get into new tea. So I've been talking about Ellen DeGeneres lately, and she has spoken about like shutting down the whole Ellen DeGeneres show. And the thing is, at this point, I genuinely think I'm a psychic, because have I not predicted 2 things now? Jeffree Star releasing something new in August, and now Ellen DeGeneres just shutting down her show. Crazy if you ask me. But there has just been a lot of stuff coming out about her and the way she treats people. And the thing is, she's now apologized to them, which is like, oh, so you couldn't just like treat them well? Was it so hard? Was it so difficult? So that's happening now. If she ends that show, I mean, at this point, she's like a multi-millionaire, so like she's fine. But I just think, you know, like if she had just treated people a little bit better, then she could still have her show. That's just my opinion on it though. There is a difference between expecting a lot from your employees as well, because I feel like sometimes people get those two confused. There is a difference between being professional in the workplace and expecting a lot from your employees and just being mean and just making people feel less than for simply messing up. I think you're allowed to, you know, tell people off for not doing the right thing, but at the same time there should be like a level of understanding, just like human understanding for the fact that people are allowed to make mistakes and not work to your abilities. But also most of the problems aren't even like workplace professional problems. It was stuff like people weren't allowed to eat meat around her. Like like other people's diets, none of your business. That should never be something that you punish someone for. This wasn't even like discipline. It was just pure like chaos. It was pure like dictatorship. I recently also spoke about the Dolan twins and how they had this one episode of their podcast that came out where people were kind of upset about the fact that there was just no trigger warnings for the fact that they spoke so heavily about dieting and counting calories and very toxic mindsets towards food, which I know if anyone has been going through an eating disorder, hearing that without any warning can be triggering. And mainly with the fact that they are, and that doesn't take away from the fact they're allowed to have eating disorders, but it also doesn't help that they are attractive guys on the internet who, if they say that they are dieting and counting calories, someone that looks very normal will then feel even more pressure to diet and count calories because those are two attractive people going, oh, well, I need to lose some weight, or I'm like measuring myself. And those people, they're young fans that look very normal, which is fine. Looking normal is fine, are going to be even more inclined to then have a toxic relationship with food. So I think a nice warning would have been good. You know, I think people give trigger warnings like a bad rep, like it's now become like a joke. But at the same time, you should always warn people when it comes to very sensitive topics. In my last video, I was kind of like split, I guess, because I was like, you know, I've never dealt with it. But just because I've never dealt with it doesn't mean that I can't empathize with people that have dealt with it. And I think looking back on it now, definitely should have been a warning there. Like, there's no question about it. That should have been a warning at the start, just going, diet talk coming up. If you don't listen to it, next podcast will be your your podcast to watch. And Grayson Dolan has now put out a statement on Twitter saying, trigger warning, which is good, we're starting off right. Twitter was definitely never the place that I wanted to release this information, and to be honest, I never really wanted to speak about it publicly, but some things are being said that don't sit right with me. Trigger warning, I've struggled with eating disorders such as anorexia and bulimia for the past 4 years of my life. I've gone through many ups and downs with my disorder, but as of recently, I've found a regimen that has helped me to combat them and has ultimately made my life much better. On a recent podcast episode, I've tried to share what's been working for me in hopes that others who also have struggled with what I have been would find it helpful. I'm very passionate about helping others, especially with sharing things that have personally helped me. Since it's definitely still an ongoing battle for me, it may have hindered my view of how it can be triggering for others. My goal was just to help. I never wanted to make anyone feel upset or like they weren't good enough. My sincere apologies if I triggered or offended you in any way. I truly believe everyone is perfect as they are, although I still need to convince myself that I am good as I am. I'm working on it every day. And I think I'm glad he acknowledged it, and at the same time, it is still like, it's clearly still something that he's dealing with, so it must be very difficult to then have to apologize for the way you speak about the thing that you're dealing with. And just because you're dealing with something in one way doesn't mean that everyone else is just going to be okay with dealing with that thing that way. So, you know, sometimes apologies have to be made. So recently there was this, I guess, application for a job posted on entertainmentcareers.net. It says confidential, Los Angeles, California, posted on July 29th, 2020. And it's a part-time job for now. It says professional personal assistant to large celebrity. A well-known celebrity / influencer with 10 plus million followers is seeking a well-organized, available, diligent personal assistant to join her team. It's a she. This is a part-time personal assistant position, but will eventually transition into full-time if properly qualified. The ideal candidate will be responsible for a large range of activities and projects, which will assist the organization leadership. In this position, you should feel comfortable planning, managing calendar activities, being on property around 8 hours a day, cleaning, cooking, communicating with producer, videographer, editor, manager, stylist, cleaning services, other celebrities, friends, researching and preparing for all pre-production, production, and post-production activities, handling all personal tasks for the YouTuber, etc. You must also be able to remain calm, rational, and hardworking at all times. You'll have to answer your phone, be on call almost 24/7. You must keep all emotion, private life matters completely away from this world. You will deal with lots of incredibly private matters. You must be able to handle hundreds of small tasks at once. You must be able to be the bad guy, remove emotion, handle intense conversations, and bounce back instantly from any mistakes without emotion. You must remain sober, yet social, and inviting in very high-profile environments. You cannot take photos, post to social media, or be seen driven by fame. Once the COVID-19 pandemic is over, you must be willing to travel anywhere at any time. Compensation, $25 to $30 an hour. There will be opportunities for overtime, full-day rates for travel, responsibilities, schedule, plan and prepare all filming, editing and posting from pre-production to production to post-production, managing, analysing, reporting, social media posting and performance, assist on minor video projects, plan and schedule calendar daily, wake the client each day with schedule, coffee and all other requests, constantly be letting maids, makeup artists, editors, stylists, etc. enter the home or office, manage all incoming and outgoing communications that are assigned to you, schedule and assist with travel including taking client to meetings, filming, fittings, studio sessions, parties, etc. Organize and and unpack clients' bags constantly, researching and communicating with brands, sponsorships, commission available. All personal day-to-day tasks. Must live 40 to 60 minutes away from Los Angeles. Must have a car to be able to drive client anywhere at any time. Minimum of 1 year experience with personal assistant or detailed project management or similar job. Fluent in English. Ability to handle multiple tasks while staying organized, ability to take ownership on each project, ability to compartmentalize emotion and remain professional, calm and hardworking, and quiet at all times, proactive to seek more responsibility, and result execution orientated. Actual work hours will be flexible, but generally expect to be with client all the time, minimal days off. Open to travel internationally in the future. Note, we will not take you as consideration if you do not follow the applicant instructions. This is absolute insanity, and the best part is people think this is to do with Tana Mongeau. So it says that you'd have to wake them up, and who always needs waking up because they can't seem to like buy themselves an alarm clock? Tana Mongeau. The fact that they have to be on call 24/7, but there is no say about paying them 24/7, beyond me, because it says that they're going to pay you for full day rate for travel. So you're only going to get paid a full day rate when you're traveling. But what about the 24-hour need to be on call situation? Are you going to pay them then? Anyway, this is absolute insanity. The fact that you want this to be like a little robot, this is strange, and it definitely does sound like Tana Mongeau. I'm sorry. Like, this is all alleged information, but people genuinely think that this is Tana Mongeau, mainly with the whole waking up thing. Buy yourself an alarm clock, whoever this is. And it's a she with 10 plus million followers. I'm assuming they added up YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and everything into one. There is a reporter from Insider called Kat, and she has recently spoken to Jake Paul about the whole partying during a pandemic situation. The tweet says, I asked Jake Paul earlier today whether he was going to stop throwing parties. He said he didn't know, but added, I personally am not the type of person who's going to sit around and not live my life. Right, so you're going to go live your life so that other people can because of your behavior. Cool. See, those other people are not going to be able to live their life because of you. Someone recently posted a TikTok of Emma Chamberlain, kind of with her makeup on, like full glam, and James Charles actually commented under that saying, oh my god, she looks so beautiful. And recently they've gone to the same parties, which I'm not happy about because don't be at parties, but it almost seems like they are now becoming friends again-ish. I don't know, I don't want to be in a business, but I'm kind of glad if that's the case, because I think that whole situation was super toxic with everyone kind of falling out and doing that whole thing, and then Jeffree Star and that whole situation. So I'm glad that people are kind of maybe reconciling and being friends again, because that's kind of a non-toxic environment that you want to be in. So then Def Noodles on Twitter posted a thread of people apparently getting the thing we can't talk about on the internet, which a lot of people ask me why we can't talk about is because we get demonetized. That's literally that's quite literally it. Some Hype House and Sway House members may allegedly have, according to a person with knowledge of situation who wants to remain anonymous. According to them, Nikita Dragon paid for Hype House tests. Most were positive. Source said Sway never got tested. And it's a conversation saying this is a big city but a small town. Nikita paid for all the tests, antibody, nasal, etc. Most came back positive. One of the girls, not a HH member, travelled between Hype House and Sway House. Sway House was also infected but don't know if they tested the house. They all share vapes, drinks, the pool. It spread. Do you know them personally? Is that how you have access to this information? How did you find this out? I know someone who visited the house. How long ago did they visit and who told them this information? At least a month ago, but they have travelled frequently since testing. The malls parties, the Hollywood Hills party a few days ago. Yeah, I've been seeing them travelling around. How does this person who gave this information know the people at the Hype House? Are they friends of theirs? Were they there working? What's weird is Lopez had it. If that video was recent, it means 1, he got it again, or 2, never got over it. My source is friends with house members. My source worked with some of them. My source tested positive and quarantined before leaving town. And yes, they were there when the people were tested. At the time, they tested negative. 3 days later, they tested positive. Then learned others were positive at the house. They equals my source. Take care and wear a mask. Okay, thank you for the information. You too, stay safe. Can you put me in touch with the person who worked at the house? Can't do it. If you can't use what I told you, I understand you need receipts. I can't give you. Then they said, according to anonymous source, this situation does not involve Charlie D'Amelio and Addison Rae since they don't stay at the Hype House. Source alleges Tony Lopez tested positive for COVID in the past. And then they say, understand on my end, I'm just trying to get as much information as possible. The person can be anonymous and off the record. They are friends of people in both houses and a TikToker also. I know the answer would be no. None of the big people are involved, Charlie, Addison, etc. They don't stay there. Since your friend doesn't want to speak, do you know of someone who would be willing to speak? It can all be anonymous. I'll find out. They said no. Okay, I appreciate you trying. And then they said, I reached out to Hype House and Sway House members, last 2 tweets and thread, they did not respond. Notably, Josh Richards and Griffin Johnson went to COVID tests the day after I reached out to them. This may be a coincidence. Tony Lopez posted on his story yesterday that he was feeling sick again. Tony is mentioned by anonymous source as allegedly testing positive for COVID weeks ago. Hype House member Michael Sanzoni claimed everyone at the Hype House went out yesterday, leaving him alone at the house. Tony Lopez, who the anonymous source said tested positive for COVID, lives at the Hype House. Thread about party at the Hype House. According to anonymous source, some Hype House members tested positive for before Lorraine's birthday party. Thomas Petru, manager of the Hype House, discussing how many people were at party, outside and inside house. According to anonymous source, some Hype House members tested positive for before the party. After receiving the information, I reached out to Hype House and Sway House members via Instagram, DMs, Twitter DMs, and email. They have not responded. Twitter DMs and emails are sent to Hype House and Sway House members to verify whether anonymous source is correct about allegations some of their members have allegedly tested positive for public health implication of these influencers' actions makes this urgent. I'll continue to try and get more information on this matter. Updates may be made to this thread or in a separate thread. And then someone else with a tick messaged him saying, hey, so I don't know if you're going to post this or not, but if you do, please crop my name out. I really don't want drama with anyone, but I know of 2 parties that people tested positive after from me and my friends. I went to that Tana birthday party with my friends. I'm not friend with her, but they wanted to go. A few people I know who were there tested positive right after. I don't know how many people in their house tested positive after, but I do know some of them did, which is even more scary because they continued to go out. I did a self-quarantine and felt horrible. I can't believe people are still doing this. I had one friend who went to the Hype House and they just don't care. And at least one person there, I guess, tested positive too, but the parties aren't stopping either. I got invited to one last night. They're just starting to hide it now or get attention off it. And either way, it's gross. And then Tana Mongeau's MTV show No Filter has been cancelled. MTV confirmed Tana's show would not be returning for a third season, and MTV added that the decision was apparently made before all the recent controversy with Tana started. And there is this insider article saying Tana Mongeau's MTV show No Filter will not return for a third season. The YouTube show, which premiered on MTV's channel in July 2019, was originally going to center around Tana Mongeau turning 21, but as filming went on, the focus shifted to Mongeau's turbulent whirlwind engagement to fellow controversial creator Jake Paul. The first 2 seasons consisted of 7 episodes each, plus 1 Christmas special, totaling to 15 episodes overall. But it looks like its run will finish there, MTV told Insider. And then it talks about the fact that Tana Mongeau's just been in a lot of drama recently, and that could be the reason why. So both Tana Mongeau and her manager have been called out by both Carlin and Nessa for obviously being to them, and then obviously the stuff now. I just don't think it's a good look for MTV, even MTV, to go along with this. And then recently, Bryce Hall was on the Logan Paul podcast and he spoke about Addison Rae, and Addison Rae now tweeted out saying, "No one knows the full story to anything, and luckily I chose not to put every detail on the internet, so please respect me and my feelings. Nothing's confusing, it was explained privately." And then Bryce Hall quote tweeted that and said, "Bradison is the definition of confusing. What you mean?" And then Def Noodles tweeted out again saying, "TikTok is threw house party yesterday. Party was for Katie Sigmund's birthday. Anthony Reeves, Kenzie Ziegler, Maddie Monroe, Lauren Kettering, Tila Dunn, and Jessica Belkin from American Horror Story, among other people, at party thread." So here's Jeffree Star now officially announcing a launch in August. I lost my pen. Got it. Def Noodles tweets out again. "James Charles, Charlie D'Amelio, Lorraine, and Ivani break self-isolation to go to dinner. The 4 attended Lorraine's birthday party at Hype House July 21st to 22nd. Paparazzi got them up BOA last night, 10 days after party. California recommends 14 days. And then recently, actually, James Welsh called out Nicole Concilio. So I recently spoke about the fact that Nicole Concilio kind of, like, in my opinion, faked her picture for her Fenty skin before and after. And I spoke about that a few videos ago. And James Welsh recently posted on his Instagram story a picture of Nicole Concilio's picture. And he claimed that it was edited, kind of like face-tuned or photoshopped. And then he said, "What we don't need influencers doing is providing fake results for skincare when 1, we know that isn't going to happen in 2 weeks of usage, and 2, the brand doesn't need fake results because the products are good. Luckily, this isn't common practice in the skincare community, who opt for real skin, real results, and filter disclaimers. This picture may not be edited at all. As stated, even if it wasn't, a before and after picture should include makeup and more flattering lighting. We know how both of those work." And then he says, I felt bad and deleted the post, but the post still stands. No one cared about fake results. We don't want to see the perfect skin a product can give you because we know it's bullshit." And then he says, "I'm not saying using filters or editing is wrong, but if you use them, then say, but I don't think using it to manipulate the results of a product, especially in paid promotional gifted products, is very, very wrong. This is personally what I do." And then he kind of puts like a disclaimer. Then he says, "So I shouldn't have jumped into overanalyzing those pictures, and I'm sorry for putting her integrity into question. Whilst everything I said still stands and we should still question what we see, it's probably a good idea to approach someone first and ask questions." Then she actually posted an Instagram story where she says that she doesn't appreciate her integrity being questioned, but the matter of fact is, like, that before and after was clearly just like done to specifically show a result or an effect that wasn't there, whether it was photoshopped or not. You were wearing makeup, you were in a flattering position, it was a different time of day. And Nicole Concilio has been called out before for sucking up to brands that send her PR, so this is just kind of disappointing. Let's not assume that a picture is photoshopped if we're not sure, whatever. Like, yeah, I get that, and I get that integrity is all she has as an influencer, but her integrity was lost a while ago, and I know she's trying to rebuild it now, but there have been so many videos of her very much like over exaggerating things so that she stays on PR lists. And even if she's trying to change that now, this just isn't a good look because it makes it look like she's going back to her old ways. But then James Welsh said that he regrets kind of jumping the gun. There are people on both sides. Some people are agreeing with James, some people are agreeing with Nicole. Some people are saying that he shouldn't have called her out if he wasn't sure, and that he's now backpedaling. But then there are some people that are saying, you know, Nicole's been doing this before. She's been doing this for a while, and it just seems like something that she would do. So calling her out is probably a good idea because then it doesn't lead to like false advertising essentially and making people feel like the results will be drastically different to what they're actually going to be. Also, just as a last tag on, Nikita Dragon has now filmed a video with the whole Hype House after some of them tested positive. That's cool. Now onto the main story. Shane Dawson has now released secretly like relaunched merch, which was kind of sent an email if you were like signed up. He restocked merch that he's now selling, which is crazy because like you haven't been on the internet since your apology, but you're restocking merch. Right, Ryland Adams has now posted a video kind of on his perspective of the whole situation. Obviously he's going to stand by Shane Dawson because that's his fiance. Same as Morgan Adams. Morgan Adams essentially said that she doesn't agree with the videos, but she understands that Shane is a different person behind the scenes than he is on camera. and that she knows him better than other people, and she's going to obviously stick by him because she is the sister of Ryland, who is a fiance of Shane. This is obviously a much better response than the initial responses. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, but Ryland like went off on Twitter calling Tati fake and all that stuff, and then on Instagram Live he was also going pretty hard on her. So this is a much more civilized way of addressing the situation.
I didn't initially jump in and insert myself because I didn't want to add to the intense negativity that was circulating about all of these old clips. And I wanted to process and think for myself. And I know I didn't do that in the beauty community drama, but I feel that's because I was kind of there for the whole experience, whereas with Shane's past, I've been with Shane for 4 years, and a lot of these clips date 7, 8 to 10 years ago. I understand that Shane's made highly insensitive and offensive jokes, and I know that while they were far in his past, it's hard to separate that person from who he is today, especially when you're seeing them in real time and your feelings are being hurt right now. I can never take that away from you, and I would never say you have to accept his apology or even ask that you do. At some point, I hope we can champion change and growth over canceling someone altogether or going for the absolute worst on the internet. And I say this because I know that Shane has had to address his past more than most people probably in the world, because every few years it comes back up to ruin him, to cancel him, and it's forced him to look into what he did, its impact, how it made people feel, and really truly grow from that. And I think if you've been watching Shane for a long time, you've experienced his growth and you know that he is a genuine person with good intentions. When I met Shane, he was still doing 5 videos a week where the premise was comedy based around building cakes out of Hostess products. And since then, he's flipped completely into more of documentaries on YouTube. And in that time, he's doubled his subscribers, which I do think came as a result of him living out his healthier, more authentic self. And I know a lot of people in present day have an issue with some of the people that he chose to give a platform. And to that, I would say that everyone has something in their past they're not proud of. But I don't think that that takes away from the incredible content that he has put out over the years. What I hate to see is because of something in someone's past, the result is that no one can be associated with them or like them, and we can't allow growth. Instead, we have to ruin, throw in the trash, and they can't be spoken about ever again. Thank you for hearing me out, and I hope you enjoy my awakening video that I realize I'm not wearing my ring inside of, and that's just because I don't put my rings on until after I work out and shower for the day. And this whole video was filmed literally the second I wake up. I meditated. So I hope you enjoy this self-journey video, and I hope you have a nice day.
I mean, I didn't expect him to say much more than this or anything very different to this, because he is Shane Dawson's fiance, and they don't seem to be getting a divorce, and I don't think they would over this situation, because you're telling me Ryland, while being Shane Dawson's fiance, didn't know that any of this was happening. So this isn't much different to what I thought he was going to film. I just kind of, at this point, you know, like I think with this kind of a response, it's kind of useless, because Shane is your fiance, so you're not going to like expose him or throw him under the bus. So you might as well just have not addressed it, because like, what's the point? Since he is your fiance, like, we don't expect you to drag Shane Dawson on the internet because he is your fiance and you're gonna get married. So like, at this point, I would just stay silent and just wait for it to blow over. I think Shane should be addressing stuff, but I just don't see the point of Ryland or Morgan addressing the stuff, because they're not gonna tell us the truth. They're not gonna like expose anything. They're not gonna like be objective because that's their family, you know? It's like if my family did something, I don't think I would go on youtube.com and just start dragging them and exposing them. That's a conversation that you'd have in private. So that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, comment down below anything you want to comment down below, and subscribe because I post videos whenever something happens or whenever I'm actually motivated to film, which I'm hoping is going to be more often now. So hit that bell, you'll be notified when that's happening. Social media links and second channel in the description. There'll be some exciting stuff happening over there, so, you know, jump over there now. And yeah, I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.